Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Rewind That. It's your girl, Miss K. So today we're going to be going over the season finale of Insecure. Season 4, episode number 10, called Low Key Lost. Okay, guys, I'm not too happy about the episode, the ending of the episode, but we will get into that when we get there. So let's jump right into it, all right? The first scene starts off with Lawrence and Issa at this marketplace, I guess, and Lawrence tells Issa that he got the job in San Francisco. Issa tells Lawrence that she's so proud of him, of course, right? So Lawrence then wants to know if distance is a deal breaker. Issa tells him, no, it's not. It's only a 45-minute flight to San Francisco, and if things stay good between us, who knows, I could. And Lawrence says, what, you'd move out there? What about your work and your friends? So Issa says, I can make new friends. And she tells Lawrence that she just wants to cut out the BS and surround herself with things that make her happy, like him. She tells him that if they want this to work, it'll work. So Lawrence was happy to hear this, and he let Issa know that he wants things to work as well. And guys, I was definitely happy that Issa wasn't fazed by Lawrence getting the job in San Francisco. You know, I kind of thought that maybe, I know she'd be happy for him, but then maybe she would probably have some doubts in her mind. But listen, Issa's all in at this point, and I'm here for it. Next, we have Molly and Andrew at a work event. And clearly this is Molly's work event. And Andrew is being a good sport about it. You know, he's being supportive and all, but when Molly's coworker BJ comes over to invite them to some type of after party function, Molly says cool at the same time that Andrew says, I'm sorry. So BJ says, well, come by if you can. So Molly says to Andrew, you don't want to go? And he says, well, I'm having fun now, but I think I'm good. So clearly he ain't trying to do nothing extra. But Molly talks him into it, and he does it to please her, okay? He puts his own feelings aside to make his woman happy. Something she could have done for him when he wanted her to go to that basketball game Victor invited them to. Next, Issa stops by the barbershop to see Nathan so he can show her an event space. He tells Issa that he's sorry about what he said about her ex, and that he gets that he screwed up, but hearing that she was back with Lawrence messed him up more than he thought. Issa says, I'm sorry, that wasn't my intention, and I really want to be a good friend to you, but I'm with Lawrence now, so if that's going to be too much. And Nathan says, it's not. Then he says, I just wanted to be honest about what I felt, and the last thing I want to do is make your life more complicated. Anyway, Nathan lightens the mood by asking Issa if she really ate lunch in the closet, and they both shared a laugh. I was actually happy that Nathan didn't do what I thought he was going to do, which was tell Issa that he had feelings for her, okay? If you guys saw my video of if Nathan and Issa should stay friends, I did mention that it would have been foul for him to try to express how he really feels about her after hearing that she was trying to work it out with Lawrence. So I am happy to see that he's kind of on the same page with me, knowing that that would be messed up, and knowing that if you really want to be Issa's friend, that wouldn't do anything but complicate things for her. So I'm glad that Nathan is continuously proving that he's truly a good dude, all right? Next, we see that Molly is wearing Andrew down, okay? Wearing him down, y'all. They get back to her place, and he tells her that she expects him to bend over backwards for her, okay? But when he tells her the things that bother him, she just dismisses it. So typical Molly, she doesn't see Andrew's point at all and uses her lawyer skills to rationalize her own actions, therefore making them justified and right. Anyway, Andrew brings up the incident with his brother, and she tells him that she thought they were past that. It seems like you're holding on to old stuff. So Andrew says, you literally never let things go, okay? So he's basically saying, how could you even talk, you know? And she claims that she lets go of stuff all the time. Then she says, what is this all about? So Andrew tells her, I do whatever you want, Molly. I do the things you want. I go to the places you want. I share when you want. It's getting old. And before Molly could answer him, Kelly called for a second time, and this time Molly picked up. Before we go into the next scene, we see that the whole reason why Andrew got all upset and started to say what was on his mind is because he wanted to come home and watch the reunion of Finding LaToya, okay? And she was like, oh, I'm too tired, like I gotta catch up or whatever. I'm just gonna go to sleep. So he said, okay, I won't, give you no spoilers, or I'll try not to spoil it for you or whatever. And she's like, oh no, you're not watching that without me. And he's like, of course, of course, everything always has to go your way. But anyway, so I knew that Molly was gonna wear this man down eventually because she is who she is. Anyway, so next, Molly goes to Derek and Tiffany's house, and Issa's there, and so is Kelly, and I guess either Tiffany or Derek's mom and sister. I don't know which ones, okay? So Derek is on the phone with somebody describing Tiffany. So apparently Tiffany is missing. She left the house yesterday morning after telling Derek that she needed to get out of the house. So Derek says he's not going to wait like the police said to, and him and the rest of the gang go to look for Tiffany. So now they're at this plaza or something. So they ask a few questions, show a pic of Tiffany, but no one gets anywhere because no one's seen her. But then they find this bar and they speak to the bartender and they find out that Tiffany was there. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, at first I thought this was some type of trick that Tiffany and Kelly were playing on Issa and Molly to bring them back together. That obviously Derek would have to be involved and stuff like that, but clearly that wasn't the case. Your girl Tiffany was really MIA for a minute. All right, so, they find some information. They find out that there was a Lyft charge on Derek's phone and all that stuff. And so they kind of like get real detective-like, okay? And they put all these thoughts together like, oh, the last time she had a margarita was Mexico, all this other crap, okay? So they go to a Mexican restaurant and they look at some footage and they find Tiffany walking through. They see that she gets on a bus. And then they find out that she was at the Sheraton because they're calling all over the place. All right, long story short, after so much that they went through with the freaking bus driver calling the cops on them and getting into it with a stranger, all this stupidness, they finally find Tiffany. And she apologizes to Derek over and over, okay? At this point, Derek is just happy that she's okay, all right? Tiffany obviously has been going through a lot, okay? Postpartum depression or just depression has really seemed to take its toll on Tiffany. And she tells Derek that she just didn't know what to do, and that's real, okay? But my thing too is I was just happy that she didn't have another man in the hotel room, okay? Because Derek loves her so much, so that would have just been jacked up, all right? But anyway, before all of this, as they were on their way to their destination to go to the Sheraton Hotel, Derek starts telling Molly and Issa that he didn't know it was this bad with Tiffany, right? He knew she was unhappy, but not this unhappy. So he starts blaming himself, saying things like he could have done more, but Issa stops him. She encourages him and lets him know that he's a good dad and a husband, and he even gained sympathy weight. She also tells him that nobody's perfect and we're all just trying to figure it out. So while she's saying all this, Molly is listening as well, and who knows what she's thinking at this point, right? Maybe she thinks Issa has a point, or maybe she's feeling like a little butthole for being hard on Issa. I don't know, because it's really hard to tell sometimes when Molly's silent. Anyway, so before we get to the next scene, I was glad to see them show a mural of Nipsey Hussle, okay? I've been waiting for them to honor him somehow. I thought they were going to do it through playing one or two of his songs somewhere throughout the season, but showing the mural is just as good, probably even better, okay? But first, they showed the mural of Kobe and Gianna Bryant, and I was just like, wow. It really touched my heart. It was really nice, but also still very sad. All right, so next we have Molly at Andrew's house, and she tries to pick up where they left off before she went to Tiffany's, but Andrew let her know that they don't have to, but Molly insisted, of course. So Andrew let Molly know that they're clearly not on the same page. So she apologizes for not going with him to the game, but Andrew says it's bigger than that, and he's been feeling this way for a long time. Then he says, what if we're just not a good match? So Molly says that's not it, because neither one of us has gotten this far with somebody in a relationship, so that has to account for something. So Andrew says, yeah, but it shouldn't be this hard. So after Molly tells him she wants to work at it and is willing to do anything, even go to therapy, Andrew asks her, what are you fighting for right now? Is this what you really want? Okay, so we move on to the next scene after that. We don't get a clear answer from Molly. It's kind of like, you know, she's almost in tears and she's kind of like, looks like she's nodding a little bit as well. But I just kind of feel like that question that Andrew asked was a really deep kind of question. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, it's almost like you don't really need to be that deep to figure Molly out. You know, Molly, to me, she's not really complicated. She clearly is who she is. She doesn't hide who she is. She's clearly selfish and self-centered. And it just shows, you know what I mean? So it doesn't take much to figure her out. So you got to know that by now, Andrew knows, like, are you really fighting this hard for me and this relationship? Or are you fighting for the look of things? You know what I'm saying? This is what I was thinking that Andrew was thinking. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't really know for sure what Andrew meant by that. But to me, I kind of feel like he meant like, all right, are you really fighting for us, or is it just the title, you know what I'm saying, of being with somebody for so long, the accomplishment of finally being with somebody for so long, because she's never done that before? You know, which one are you really fighting for? And I just feel like that was a really great question, and maybe it's something that she really had to think about. Does she really want him like that, or does she just want to be in a relationship so bad with someone and be able to say, yeah, I got a man and I've had this man for a while now? You know, I don't know. But anyway, so I guess we won't know until next season what happens or what will happen with Molly and Andrew. I mean, I suspect that they broke up. Anyway, so let's move on. So next, Lawrence comes over to Issa with some bad news, okay? Just like we thought, Condola is pregnant. And this situation actually happening is so annoying because we didn't need a repeat of the game with Melanie and Derwin, all right? Anyway, Lawrence clearly did not want Condola to keep the baby, but she is, and she tells him that, you know, I don't need anything from you. You could be involved if you want to. If not, it's all good. I got this, you know? And so Issa obviously is heartbroken by this news, okay? She tells Lawrence that it's too much, and then she wants to know, are you gonna get back with Condola? And Lawrence says, no, I want to be with you. I don't want any of this stuff to be happening. But Issa says, once again, it's just too much. So we knew it though, guys, right? We knew that Condola was gonna be pregnant, okay? They had to create some type of drama between Lawrence and Issa, either to prevent them from getting back together or to complicate things if they did get back together, okay? And I so wish that this theory of mine and this theory of ours that a lot of us knew was, I wish we was wrong, guys. I wish we were wrong about it. But knowing, like I said, like I keep saying, that they had to create some drama, we knew it was going to be something messed up that was going to happen in this season finale, okay? Next, we see that the person that Issa was going to meet up with in the trailer that we saw last week for this week's episode was not Daniel, okay, people? I don't know where people got that from, all right? I know that in my last video that I had about Issa and Nathan continuing to be friends, I know I mentioned that rumor, but it just didn't make sense to me, but I still had to mention it. And listen, guys, it wasn't Daniel. Thank God, because it just didn't make any sense, all right? Now, anyway, the person was Molly, which makes absolutely so much more sense than it being Daniel, okay? Now, we see that this time, Molly is the one that reached out, okay? And the ladies look like they got into a really deep conversation that we were not able to hear, all right? And that's fine, I guess. Right? But at this point, both of these ladies need at least one relationship to work in their lives, whether it's their friendship or the relationship with their men. So they definitely are overdue for a talk, a sit down. And if Molly has seriously decided in her heart, you know what, I'm going to swallow my pride and I'm going to look past myself and see that, you know, I'm also at fault, and she decides to call Issa so they can work things out, then I'm all here for it, okay? I told you guys last week, at this point, I don't care what happens with Issa and Molly. I already knew that some way, somehow, because they started off as best friends, you know they're gonna get them back together somehow. I knew it would have to take something possibly drastic or whatever for them to get back together, but it's all good. Like I said, even if they would have ended this episode without Issa and Molly talking, I wouldn't have cared, because you know why? I was just tired of Molly, to be honest with you. So that's why I was just like, I don't even care no more. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, but what I do want to say is that I would have loved if they would have let us see a little bit of that conversation, you know, but I guess we're going to have to just wait till next season to see how things are. I do suspect that we're going to see them as friends again next season. Okay, moving on, I do also believe that Lawrence is not going to be going to San Francisco anymore because of the baby situation. All right. Another thing I wanted to mention real quick is that I kind of feel like they spent a little too much time on the whole finding Tiffany type of situation. It's almost like they had their own little rendition of finding Latoya, okay? And I just kind of feel like it was just a little too much time spent on that. You know, I'm here for them shedding light on the depression, the postpartum depression and things like that, and mental health and all that. Like, people really need to know that they're not alone in that type of stuff. So I'm not trying to say, oh, they shouldn't have had that in there. I just kind of feel like they spent too much time on that. Now, another thing that could have resolved that is if they would have made the episode maybe about 8 more minutes long. Now, I know that in the past, they've done that. Like, they've had their season finales where it was like 38 minutes long or something like that, you know? So that would have been cool if they would have just had it a little longer, you know? Because I do feel like there are some parts that they needed to probably spend a little more time on. I just wish they would have spent a little more time on the Molly and Andrew situation as well. You know, they got cut off first, and then when they went back to revisit, Andrew was just done at this point. But I do wish it just would have been a little meatier, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, whatever. So the one question that I do have for this whole episode, though, before we go, is did Lawrence lie to Issa when she asked him in last week's episode, do you have any loose ends that you need to tie up? And he said, if you're talking about Condola, no, we talked and we're done. My question is, did he really talk to Condola, or did he ignore her? You know what I'm saying? Did he just text her like, no, I'm not going to talk to you no more, we're done? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because my thing is, if y'all did go talk, why didn't she tell you that she was pregnant at the time? Or did she find out that she was pregnant like the night before or some crap like that? Because if she popped up, come on now, that sounds like you've been ignoring her, all right? And she's like, listen, I don't got time to be trying to track this dude down anymore. I'm gonna have to go knock on that door. I'm gonna have to pull up. You know what I mean? So I'm really wondering if Lawrence lied to Issa. And, you know, at the time, he probably felt like it was just a lie that wouldn't really matter. You know what I mean? Because he's like, it doesn't matter. I'm not trying to be with her. I'm done. So it was an innocent lie if he did tell it. But I wonder if he lied to her, because stuff is not really adding up to me that if they did have a talk, now he finds out last night she's pregnant. It's just didn't really add up to me. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought about this episode. I'm sorry that it's over, but it is. And it's like we have to wait a whole year. That's the thing that be getting me with some of these shows. You got to wait like a whole year before you can see them again. It's too much sometimes. But anyway, let me know what you guys thought. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. Take care. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.